So Stefan Colbert is now in full damage control mode after 7 of his staffers, they believe 9 were involved, but 7 confirmed, after his staffers invaded the U.S. Capitol last Thursday night. And he downplayed this last night on his show, claiming it was first-degree puppetry. His staffers were just engaging in first-degree puppetry. This according to Fox News, story by Lawrence Richard. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Culture Confederacy here. It's Tuesday. Pipe and coffee in hand, as always. Let me take a sip of my coffee now. That was the bottom of the cup. Stefan Colbert addressed the recent arrest of his crew and production members who were caught and charged with being in an unauthorized area of a U.S. Capitol building last week. During Monday night's Late Show, Colbert downplayed the arrest as, quote-unquote, very professional. This interaction between his staff and cautious Capitol police officers. Cautious Capitol police officers. Well, they weren't so cautious on January 6th, were they? I saw the tape. This up-close angle of the insurrectionists, these mad-as-hell Trump supporters, breaking down the door at the Capitol. And out popped 3 or 4 police officers, security. They looked dazed and confused. I don't know, Johnny. What should we do? We got all these protesters. Should we let them in? Yeah, let them in. Are you sure? Yeah, let them in. Anything to make Trump look bad. Okay. Reminded me of that Dr. Phil parody on Mad TV. Oh my God, what'd I do? Let him in. The host opened the show by asking the audience about their weekends before joking, well, I had an interesting one and some members of my staff had a memorable one. And Stefan Colbert was nowhere to be found. On Thursday night, was he curled up with an Afghan, encyclopedia, and warm milk? The Capitol Police were just doing their job. My staff was just doing their job. Everyone was very professional. Everyone was very calm. He continued. My staffers were detained, processed, and released. A very unpleasant experience for my staff. Again, Stefan Colbert nowhere to be found. At home, curled up with an Afghan, encyclopedia, and warm milk. On Thursday, a group dubbed the Colbert 7 were arrested for unlawful entry in the Longworth House office building. Isn't that what the insurrectionists, these protesters, were charged with on January 6th? Among those arrested was Robert Schmeigel, the puppeteer for Triumph the Insult comic dog. Should I quote the famous line from Triumph the Insult comic dog? I try to keep this a family show. A character on CBS's The Late Show with Stefan Colbert. And Triumph the Insult Dog was originally on Conan O'Brien. They've got a picture of Robert Schmeigel. Schmeigel. With Triumph the Insult Dog. After they finished their interviews, my staffers were doing some last-minute puppetry and jokey make-em-ups. There's intelligence for you there. Last-minute puppetry and jokey make-em-ups in a hallway when Triumph and my folks were approached and detained by Capitol Police, Colbert said. He continued a lot of paperwork for the Capitol Police, but a fairly simple story until the next night when a couple of the TV people started claiming that my puppet squad had, quote, committed insurrection at the U.S. Capitol building. Well, they were going around and knocking on the doors of these representatives, like Kevin McCarthy. And I still would like to know, did they get their hands on any files that could be used possibly to change the outcome of the 2022 midterms? We may never know. Come on, Fox, investigate this. Colbert claimed his staff was not in the main Capitol building, and he said he was shocked that he has to explain the difference but an insurrection involves disrupting the lawful actions of Congress and howling for the blood of elected leaders. Well, if you're going around knocking on the doors of these representatives, aren't you disrupting the process of these Congress members engaging in legislation, looking over information that's going to be presented in a bill? Isn't that disrupting the process? All to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. So were your staffers trying to disrupt the potential peaceful transfer of power that may happen during the 2022 midterms? If your side loses? He tagged the incident as first-degree puppetry, then blamed former President Trump for the January 6th Capitol riot. Trump was not responsible for what happened at the Capitol building. At the time, he was speaking at the Ellipse, which is, a good 45 minutes to an hour or so away. And with the crowds, it took nearly 2 hours to travel, double the amount of time, to travel from the Ellipse to the Capitol building. You can't be in 2 or 3 places at once, folks. Colbert accused journalists covering the story of looking for an excuse to talk about something other than the January 6 hearings, and said drawing an equivalence to the rioters storming the Capitol on January 6 is a, quote, shameful and grotesque insult to the memory of everyone who died. There's only one person who died on January 6th, and that was Ashley Babbitt, a Trump supporter, Mr. Colbert. And weren't your staffers thrown out earlier in the day, possibly the previous day, from these January 6 hearings because they did not have the proper press credentials? Can we say in that case that they were disrupting a session of Congress, this hearing? He said, it obscenely trivializes the service and courage the Capitol Police showed on that terrible day. Okay, standing down to the protesters is not courage. Walking around dazed and confused is not courage. Asking your fellow officers, what should I do, is not courage. He joked that perhaps there was a vast conspiracy by his staffers to overthrow the government with a rubber Rottweiler, in reference to Triumph the Insult Comic Dog Puppet. The staffers were arrested after U.S. Capitol Police responded to a call about a disturbance in the Longworth House office building around 8:30 p.m. Responding officers observed 7 individuals unescorted and without congressional ID in a 6th-floor hallway, the police said in a statement. The building was closed to visitors, and these individuals were determined to be a part of a group that had been directed by the USCP to leave the building earlier in the day. So in this building, unaccompanied, unauthorized, no congressional ID, what were they doing? Oh, we were just filming a skit. As you're going around knocking on the doors of these representatives, the Capitol Police said the individuals were charged with unlawful entry. Quote, this is an active criminal investigation and may result in additional criminal charges after a consultation with the U.S. Attorney, the USCP added. Earlier in the day, they conducted interviews with members of the January 6th Select Committee, including Representative Adam Schiff, who let these people in, Stephanie Murphy, and Representative Jake Auchincloss in California, Florida, and Massachusetts, respectively. And they've got another pose of Stefan Colbert, who, me, my staff, invading the U.S. Capitol building? No, I don't know anything about it. First time I've heard about this. In fact, I first heard about this in the news. Quoting Obama there. Sources tell Fox News that an aide to Auchincloss let them in to the House office buildings around 4 p.m., and they were left unattended for several hours. What were they doing in those several hours? Besides filming a skit. Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio and Representative Rodney Davis of Illinois, both Republicans, are now asking Capitol Police for more information about how the group was able to gain access to the House building. A spokesperson for CBS told Fox News last week that, quote, the interviews at the Capitol were authorized and prearranged through congressional aides of the members interviewed. So again, this is at Fox News. Stéphane Colbert saving face. This is by Lawrence Richard. Title of the article, Stéphane Colbert breaks silence on staffer's Capitol arrest and calls it first-degree puppetry. First-degree puppetry. And as I'm doing this video, we've got another one of these hearings. But for this to happen, and I said this before, for this to happen in the middle of these hearings is gravy. It's gravy, folks. They can't escape this. And this story is not going away. You want to talk about hypocrisy? Here it is. Prime example. Rules for me, but not for thee. You like the video, you know what to do. Or you can follow me at Instagram, hashtag JasonComposes. Find me at Twitter, Culture Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out, stay safe, everybody. God bless us. Great country. I'll catch you next time. And more great videos are on the way. Have a great day.